Hello and welcome back to the RattleMind podcast. I'm Rye, and joining me as always is my co-host. There we go. That was a long pause. Yeah. Yeah, that would do it. Well, there are weird things with having long distance podcasts. But, that's the thing that happens. All right, I want to talk a little bit of philosophy with you. Well, it's not exactly philosophy, but this is something that I've started to think about when I actually do stuff. I shared my screen. There you are. Now you can see what I'm looking at. Let me move that out of the way. But the audience doesn't get to see it. I'm evil. All right. As pretty much everyone should know, I always talk about a specific book series by Terry Goodkind, The Sword of Truth. Well, the thing is that in the book, there are rules for being a wizard. And these rules actually have influenced the way I like to live my life somewhat. So, like with the wizard's first rule, which is also the title of the first book in the series, people are stupid and they will believe a lie if they want it to be true or if they are afraid that it is true. So when you really think about it, basically, fear rules all lies. Well, when you lie, people are either afraid that it is true, or they are afraid, or they believe that it, or whatever. My brain has just broken that rule. My brain is fried. But the way the rule that first wizard's fool, you can't speak. Why? Okay. But the wizard, I really cannot speak. Why can't I speak? Yes, it will be like this for a long time. But that first rule of people will believe a lie because they want it to be true, or they will believe the lie because they're afraid it is true, is actually a very interesting thing when you think about it. Because this is also when you think about what you read on the internet. If you hope that something is true, you're going to believe it. So even if it might not be true. And then, which is why I have come to the realization that even if I see it on the internet or I've heard it from someone else, I prefer to try and figure it out if it is true or see the actual stuff beforehand or after hearing about it. Yep. Exactly. Yep. So, right. So that's what's influenced me somewhat in the fact that, things are not always true, but I might be believing in something because I want it to be true, or that I'm afraid it is true, and now I have to try and figure out how to live with that as being true. So it actually does make sense when you think about it. So let's go to the wizard's second rule. Now, the wizard's second rule there is pretty much a common thing for anyone. I've basically heard some facsimile of this type of thing, which is the greatest harm can result from the best intentions. So basically, even if you're trying to do something good, you may end up inadvertently doing something bad. So it's like I hand a homeless person $20. That's a good thing. I gave them $20 and now they can go get food or something. What do they spend that $20 on? It could be drugs or alcohol. So I might have just screwed them. But no, no. See, the real thing you should do is you should give them a gift card to a place like Walmart or something like that, where it is more. Yes, you have to think about the drawbacks of giving straight cash to giving them something that will help them in the long run. Like if you instead of giving them money, you could always give them like literally give them food or sit down with them and talk to them. Even that could be a great thing. But that's the thing. You got to think of the other things you can do as well as, direct help. So, yeah. Well, and that's basically what this is. Right. Which is very true. But these are the things. I'm just saying that you can also think of other things you can do than just doing the direct. Here's this, go away. Well, it's sort of. My mind wanders in weird ways all the time, so I can't control it. Oh yes, right. Which, well, there are two properties that actually go up with that you could actually watch. One is The Watchmen. Um, there's movies plus the graphic novels, and then The Boys. They broach on similar to what you just said. How, yep. Uh, so yeah, even if you do something good, it might end up backfiring, but most of the time it won't actually come back to you. So a lot of people don't worry about that. Um, but yeah, you always need to think of your actions and what outcomes could result from your actions. Sometimes you just say, forget what the outcome is because, like you said, with the giving them $20, you gave a great point that it's not really my issue if they go out and do the bad thing. But, you know, there are things to think about. But, once you do something, there are ramifications. But most of the time, you can't control what happens after you do something. So, right. And I think that's part of what this wizard's first rule is about, or second rule is about, is understanding that what you could do could cause harm. So you need to make sure that your actions are done in the best possible way. Exactly, yeah. And then there's a wizard's third rule: passion rules reason, for better or for worse. Basically, if you're in the heat of the moment and doing something, that you're probably not going to think. And you're probably going to just do it, and you're not reasoning through it. You're just doing it because it's like you're standing above a cliff and there's a pool of water below you, and you just want to jump into the water. And so, passion, you go and jump it. And, that's passion overcoming your reason because you don't know how deep that water is. There could be only 2 inches there. That does depend on how high you are and if you actually dive properly. I do not recommend belly flopping into a large body of water. I know. Right. It is. Yeah, definitely. But I think all three of those rules tend to complement each other. It's all about thinking about what you're doing and trying to overcome what might happen if you don't think. At least that's my interpretation. Everyone else can interpret it a different way. But yeah. So, yeah, a book, yeah, a sci fi book has influenced, well, I guess it's fantasy. Sorry, it's not sci fi, it's fantasy. Has influenced my perspective on the world. Which is why I'm always, saying people should read these books because they actually got me thinking about myself while enjoying a really good story. Yeah. Um, it's a shame that Terry Goodkind passed away. He was a good author. Wow. Okay. So there's. Okay. The Wizard's Rules. I looked on the wiki quotes, apparently, for the Sword of Truth series, and apparently there are 15 of them. Let's see, what's number 4? There is magic in sincere forgiveness, magic to heal, and forgiveness you grant, but more so in forgiveness you receive. That's an interesting one. Let's see. Mind what people do, not only what they say, for deeds will betray a lie. I wanted to actually put those as, part of the wizard's rules, but more or less just a quote. Actually, one of my favorite things from these book series is one of the things that all the characters do is if they're rushing into something or they're having a meeting of some sort, it always comes back to focus on the solution, not the problem. So basically, what that says is that you know what the problem is. You need to focus on how to fix the problem and not keep harping on what the problem is. And then that's another thing that, always stuck with me. Yeah, it does. But when. Exactly. Exactly. It's like there's a power plant that was in Texas and it was up against a creek or a river of some sort. And they had clear cutted to build the power plant, so there were no trees or anything. So the ground next to the creek or riverbed was just eroding away and eroding away. And the way they fixed it was they said, what stops the erosion of the land? Well, let's plant native trees. And guess what? The root system of those trees reinforced the dirt around the creek or riverbed and stopped it from eroding away, keeping the power plant from having catastrophes happen because of it. So, things to think about. Let's see, what are the other interesting things in here? Okay, I guess they are rules. The most important rule there is the wizard's sixth rule. The only sovereign you can allow to rule you is reason. The first law of reason is this: what exists, exists. What is, and from this irreducible bedrock, I have no idea if I said that right, principle, all knowledge is built. It is the foundation from which life is embraced. Interesting. Yeah, I think that is the best interpretation of that. It's a true because you. Mm-hmm. I think your takeaway is the most accurate. Oh, let's see. That's an interesting one. Number 7. Life is the future, not the past. The past can teach us, through experience, how to accomplish things in the future, comfort us with cherished memories, and provide the foundation of what has already been accomplished. But only the future holds life. To live in the past is to embrace what is dead. To live life to its fullest each day must be created anew. As rational thinking beings, we must use our intellect, not blind devotion to what has come before, to make rational choices. Boy, he really did think out what he was going to have these things say, didn't he? Yeah, the three laws of robotics. I don't actually know them off the top of my head. Isaac Asimov's Laws of Robotics. All right. Laws of robotics state that a robot may not injure a human being or through an action allow a human being to a human being to come to harm. Yeah, that's the first one. Let's pull up the full wiki so I can actually read them. Yep. Second law, a robot must obey orders given it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Then there's zeroth law. What the bleep is that? Apparently so. A robot may not harm humanity or by an action allow humanity to be harmed. That's a terrible law. Yeah. That's yeah, it says it was introduced later. So, yeah, zeroth law should be completely forgotten about, in my opinion. Because honestly, if you're a robot, I'm going to assume I'm a thinking robot here, so I'm trying to follow these laws. Yeah, exactly. Following these three laws, the zeroth law should not ever apply. Because as a robot, my actions do not have to affect humanity as a whole at all. My actions should only affect my owner or the human in charge of me and no one else really. I mean, except, yeah, as in the fact that, you can't harm a human, so. Right. So yeah, that zeroth law is redundant and. Well, according to this, Isaac Asimov is actually the one who added it. But, yeah, he's the one who made the laws. I still find it redundant. Well, this is all based off of a fiction novel. Uh, yeah. But, yeah, I've never actually read I, Robot. I watched the Will Smith movie, but not read the book. Yeah. Yeah. That movie does make good points. Like, when you sign up for to be a donor and your ID card, when you get your driver's license, it might not just be what they can take out, it could be what they could put in. So always be careful about that. But, honestly, yeah, that's a future problem there. I don't know. We could be in our 60s and, robots could be roaming around with the way things are going. Yeah, me either. I mean, that part of transhumanism I'm okay with. I just don't want to download my consciousness into a computer or a robot body. Because at that point, you get a conflict is did your conscious download and leave the body that you did have, or or is this consciousness that's been downloaded nothing but a facsimile of what was? That's the only time I get really confused by things. Well, it's just like the clone thing. Once you download your consciousness into something, do you still live in the original body, and now you have a copy of yourself in another form somewhere else? Oh, there's a game. Oh, there's a game that actually does this. What is it? Oh, brain. I own the game, so which we might play at some point. But it broaches on this topic. I love using words that I actually understand. That people are like, "Wait, isn't a brooch a thing you put on your shirt?" What is it? Soma. That's what it's called. Let's bring up our store page. There we go. You must be old to play this game. Well, okay. But yeah, this game here. No, it wasn't. It's fine. I'm not recording the screen anyway. But this game actually comes on that topic of when you download your consciousness, are you just making a copy of your consciousness or not? And in this game, it kind of says yes, that it's just a copy. So maybe that's what we'll play after we get tired of Astro Colony. We'll play through Soma, or I'll play through and you can watch and comment. I never actually got through with the actual game. I know how it ends because stupid YouTube exists and spoils everything anyway. Not when you fall asleep in your chair and then you wake up and it's like, wait, what? Oh. See, that's my problem is I fall asleep in my chair and, it keeps playing videos and it's like, oh, wait, I have that game. Oh, so that's how it ends. You suck. I still haven't played it. Yep. All right. Well, we're actually coming up on 30 minutes here. So, thank you all for watching. Remember the likey, comedy, subscribey thingy. Anything you'd like to add? All right. Oh, if you have a philosophy of your own or have a book or idea of a philosophy, go ahead and put it in the comments. And more than likely, they'll get held for review. If I think it's a terrible philosophy, I will delete it. If not, enjoy. All right. Bye, everyone.